Welcome back to some Sly Cooper. Now Murray and Bentley are best friends with Sly. They grew up together, they went on a bunch of adventures together. But what if there's more to these characters? Have any of you guys ever thought about that? So with that being said, the point of this video is to simply talk about Murray and Bentley a bit, and go over some ideas. Hopefully you guys enjoy this one. Alright, so Bentley is the brains of the gang. He grew up with Sly and Murray at the Happy Camper Orphanage. Sly is the main protagonist of the series. He had a bunch of major roles, but Bentley had a few roles as well. He tried breaking the gang out of prison in Sly 2, and he fell in love with Penelope, who later on completely betrayed the gang. His involvement with Penelope is what caused some of the events in Sly 4. At one point, Penelope didn't agree with what Bentley was thinking, and because of that, she moved away from the gang and turned into this bad guy. Now for Murray, he's considered the muscle of the gang. He also grew up at the orphanage, and Murray is also important. At one point, he felt guilty when Bentley broke his leg in Sly 2. Because of that, he went soul searching and met the Guru. But at one point, the gang realized that they needed the muscle, they needed the Murray. So basically, whether it be Sly, Murray, or Bentley, they all influence each other. If one's missing from the gang, their plans pretty much fall apart. But the most important thing is friendship. That's why they've been together for years. I mean, they grew up together, right? So all we know so far is that they're best friends, they went on a bunch of adventures, and they helped each other out. But what if there's more to these characters? Let's take Ratchet and Clank for example. Clank is Ratchet's partner. Simple. But once we reached the Future Saga, we found out about the Zoni. We found out that Orvis created Clank. Now let's take Jak and Daxter for example. Daxter at one point discovered the Odd Cell precursors. Daxter thought he was the only one of his kind. Now since these two series had a lot more to their characters, I'm not saying that the Sly Cooper series should do the same, but it would be interesting. All we know so far is that Sly, Murray, and Bentley grew up at this orphanage. That's all we know. Could there be more backstories to these characters? Bentley and Murray especially. Could one of the two, in the future, have a lot more importance in the story? There's a lot of things the developers can do with this. But anyways, guys, think about this. Sly, Murray, and Bentley learned their skills on their own. Bentley is naturally smart. It's all genetics. The same goes for Murray, his strength. And the same goes for Sly, his athleticism. I'm not talking about the skills in the Thievius Raccoonus. I'm simply talking about his agility. All of this is in their family. Okay, now there's this one question I've always had in mind. I might be overthinking, but did they even go to school? If I'm not mistaken, orphans go to public schools in general. Sly, Murray, and Bentley going to school was never mentioned. All we know is that they grew up at an orphanage. They probably educated themselves. If that's the case, then it's pretty impressive. They have a gift, and this specific gift has always been part of their family. They probably never knew that this talent was naturally present in their family, especially if we're talking about Murray and Bentley. For Sly, he saw the Thievius Raccoonus when he was 8 years old, so he already knew that his family had a lot of athleticism. Now here's another question. It has to do with the orphanage. How did they even leave the place? Did they get kicked out? Or did they simply run away? I'm gonna say they got kicked out. Once an orphan turns 18, they have to leave the place. They even get kicked out. According to the strategy guide, Sly was apparently 18 in Sly 1. Now I read this on a wiki page, guys, okay? That's not all. According to the strategy guide for Honor Among Thieves, they were all 21. If Sly was 18 in the first game, then all of them getting kicked out of the orphanage at 18 makes sense, I guess. We can also say that they were lucky. They were all the same age and got released at the same time. And after that, they lived together as best friends. They probably didn't know what to do when they got released, but since they were all together, it was easier for them to figure it out. If they all got kicked out at 18 in Sly 1, that means that the events in that game took place right after they got released, while maybe it took place a few months later. So pretty much, they started going on adventures once they got released. Using their skills and all, they were able to manage. Okay, now is there a lot more backstory in the games? Not really, but for Bentley, there's a bit more info. According to the Sly 2 official strategy guide, Bentley has siblings. Had or has. We don't know if they're alive. Nothing was mentioned at all in the games. Let's assume they're still alive. We've never heard of them before. We've never seen them. Now Bentley wears glasses because he's nearsighted. When he was a kid, he wandered away from his family and that's all we know. Once he got lost, a relative of Miss Puffin, the head mistress of Happy Camper Orphanage, found him, and this was all stated in the official guide of Sly 2. Okay, he ran away. He ended up in an orphanage. But what about his family? Did his family even care about him? Did they even look for him? Did they die after? Is that why we've never heard of his parents before? Maybe they died, but if we assume that the siblings are alive, then the parents should be alive as well, right? If they didn't have parents, and were also orphans, then wouldn't they end up in the orphanage? They should, right? But what if his brother or sister was a lot older than him? They were probably old enough to live on their own. If that's the case, why not look for Bentley? If his parents, brother or sister are still alive, then that means they simply don't care about Bentley. They could have looked for him this whole time. Now why would they simply abandon him? Okay, what if his parents or siblings were purposely killed so that Bentley would end up in the orphanage? But here's the thing, he ended up in the orphanage because he left his family. What if they got killed so they wouldn't be able to find him? Guys, we don't know anything about them, so this is just a bunch of ideas, that's all. Talking about ideas, Bentley got his brains from his father or mother, right? What if his brother or sister are evil, or grew evil? What do you think? Before I proceed, let's talk about Murray. Murray, we know absolutely nothing about his past. We only know that he grew up in the orphanage. That's it. Maybe his parents died. We don't know. Since we know absolutely nothing about his past, here's an idea. It's just an idea, okay guys? What if his father trained McSweeney? I mean, McSweeney got those skills from somewhere, right? Okay, maybe he got those skills naturally. But what if that's not the case? What if McSweeney became who he is because of Murray's father? Maybe Connor was friends with Murray's dad, we don't know. Maybe Murray's parents died when he was 8, just like Sly. Maybe Murray's parents had some sort of relationship with Connor's gang. Maybe Murray's dad was a bad guy and they had to put a stop to him. Anything is possible, we don't know anything about his past, so what happened to his parents? We can just speculate. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but in Sly 3, in the Cooper Vault, Dr. M told Murray that he's a lot stronger than McSweeney ever was. How does he know that? Okay, maybe he said that because of his fighting skills and his strength, but what if there's more to it? What if he actually knew Murray's father, but kept it a secret? Maybe Dr. M knew that his father trained McSweeney, and he knew that McSweeney's trainer was pretty strong. So Dr. M probably told himself that Murray naturally got his strength from his father. Maybe Murray's mom was a fighter back then, maybe she had a lot of strength. We don't know. Here's another idea, guys. What if McSweeney had a kid? What if his kid was a bad guy? Maybe McSweeney didn't want his kid to end up in jail, and because of that, he probably told his son or daughter to run away. Maybe his kid didn't like him. Who knows really? Now, where am I going with these ideas? What would you guys think of a Cooper gang's evil counterpart? Think about it. Bentley's sibling can be the evil genius, the muscle of that gang could probably be McSweeney's kid, or someone completely random. Now, who would be the person with Sly's agility? Now, a few of you mentioned in the comment section, what if Sly had a brother or sister? That, I'm not too sure about that. I mean, we don't have a portrait with 2 kids. What if an ancestor of his would be part of that evil gang? If that would be the case, then we would pretty much be talking about time travel. And we know time travel is just confusing. But here's the thing, guys. We don't know how many kids the Coopers had. Maybe one of them was evil, and maybe this evil Cooper had a page of his own in the book. And in some point in time, that page got ripped out. And why? Probably due to bad influence. Okay, time travel. But who would bring that Cooper to the present? Maybe Bentley's brother or sister was smart enough to build their own time machine. I mean, look at Bentley, he's pretty smart. But anyways, guys, I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't want to complicate things. Now tell me what you think, guys. Do you think these types of ideas are pretty interesting for future sequels? Do you think that Bentley's siblings could be evil? Could Murray's parents have some sort of connection with Connor's gang? As I said before, guys, these are just ideas. It's fun to go over. But anyways, as always, I've been Vivi, and thanks for watching, guys.